Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Justin.
So we nailed our quarter century team.
I'm not complaining.
Oh, maybe that's the question. Did we do such a good job? The OHL was like, just put that up. Change one or two.
Are we doing such a good job that tickets sold out and you couldn't get tickets to the game on Sunday?
I couldn't even get tickets to the game on Sunday. I'm like, did I cause this? I've never had that problem before.
I would love to take credit, but I think it's just that we're in this like hockey crazy place.
Yeah,
Kitchener, Waterloo,
and the
Cambridge.
Rangers are just so good.
They're so good.
Yeah, why wouldn't you go? And it was March break, and
yes,
the Odd Pod is just selling tickets. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
We should get a cut.
Yeah,
and we'll give it back.
Yeah, in season tickets.
Yeah, exactly. Season tickets and merch.
Rangers, contact us. We want that. The quarter century team. What?
Two.
So we put in Kadri, and who else did they cut? McGrath. And they put in Justin Azevedo
and Mashirin, Adam Mashirin.
Yeah, who we didn't even groat.
We didn't groat. However, I looked at his numbers. He's a really talented guy.
Yeah.
But you got to think that we had to have groats from every era. So at some point we were going to miss someone. I saw in the 90s, this is a special groat shout out early in the episode, Trevor Gallant. He's third all time in Kitchener Rangers scoring.
Crazy.
He played 4 full seasons.
Sure.
I'm not taking away from that, but he has a ton of points, like 300 points.
Yeah, it's not a small number of guys who have played
bottom
4
line,
seasons.
He's absolutely a groat.
Yeah.
It's just that we stopped at 32.
Yeah, we 32'd.
We did 32, people. We can't do more than that.
Yeah, this is a long and historied franchise.
Exactly. Like it would just be, we could just probably every episode we could do 2 groats and still have people left over at the end of the season.
Yeah.
We just can't do it.
Yeah. And then they swapped the goaltenders.
They did.
A-team, B-team.
And Ryan Murphy was on team 1 instead of team 2.
Yes. Yeah. So it was like, I was looking at it, I was like, whoa, this is
not a 12 though.
Yeah. Our core 3 that we put on the top team, Benoit, Roy, and Richards was really like, they were there, and that really made sense. That's the core of your team.
And we got Landeskog the same on
That's true.
Which was cool. I just thought it was cool because I think you could probably make a case for one of those guys on line 2 as well as on line 1. So I don't know. I thought it was very validating.
Yes.
Which was like, nice.
Hey, at the first episode, we didn't know anything about the Rangers.
Literally.
Now we were doing the Pam meme of when she goes to Creed and says, tell us the difference between these 2 images. And you couldn't, other than the colors that I used when I made it.
All you need to say about our knowledge at the beginning of the season was Adrian Masaljevic
and Danovsky.
And Danovsky. We love you, buddy.
Welcome to the Odd Pod, where we're talking Kitchener Rangers hockey with the oddballs themselves, Andrew and Justin. Take it away, fellas.
Speaking of Andonovsky and Misaljevic, there was a pretty cool event. We're recording this on Tuesday this week. So
we are. We're a day early than we normally do.
So today, or Tuesday, they did a pretty cool March break downtown event. Andrew, you were kicking it around there.
The Kitchener Rangers Downtown Showdown. It was announced during the event that Mayor Verbanovich, he committed to it being a yearly event. So if you didn't get down to it this year, I strongly suggest doing it next year. I thought it was great. The ice, it was too nice here today for the ice. Too nice for the ice.
Too nice.
So it was like 8 degrees here and really sunny, and so they had to play some street hockey, which was fun.
The rink did look like a wading pool. So,
it was. It really was. It was, which is what it is in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't going to do that. They were going to play water polo. It was a little too cold for that, so they played some road hockey, which was fun. It was really fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the kids were really into it. The boys were really into it. And seeing them up close, really got a chance to see how young these guys are. It was like my wife was standing there with my 9-month-old son, and she was just like, they're like really young. They're like really just youthful. And I was just like, yeah, they're babies. They're like 16 to 19, right?
And they're professional athletes, so they're like very spry.
Yes, exactly. And they haven't been weathered in the hockey way. that all of them get. You look at Markstown, he's 31.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's 31? He looks older than me.
I
don't understand. What happened,
He
man?
looks like he's in his mid-60s.
Yeah.
He also looks like a Rocky and Bullwinkle villain.
Well, for sure. He might be.
He might be.
Yeah, if this was like the 80s or 90s, he probably would have been cast as a villain in something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so jumping back to the Rangers, we played 2 games this weekend. Friday night, home at the Odd, we played the Windsor Spitfires. And then on Sunday, which is the game that I could not get tickets to, we were playing the Guelph Storm, also at home. If they had been at Guelph, I probably could have got tickets.
True.
So, yeah, the Windsor Spitfires, we beat them 7-4 in a back-and-forth crazy game.
What a game. I took my parents were in from out of town, and
Sweet.
I took them. And it really was an awesome game for your first Kitchener Rangers game.
Yeah.
My dad has now been to 2 Kitchener Rangers games. Both time he's seen the Windsor Spitfires. You were there the first time.
Yes, I was.
That I took him. Both wins. And it's funny because we went with your dad in the fall, and we also saw
the Spitfires.
Windsor Spitfires.
But we lost. It wasn't the blowout game, but it was not a good win. It was not a good win.
It wasn't
either.
great. So I guess the secret is my dad has to be there.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a great game. However, the second period was one of the worst periods that they've played all year.
Yeah.
And could have been swapped out for that blowout game because it was brutal.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit like, uh-oh, what's going on? And then they came out in the third period and just went back to that. No, we're not going to get – this is the difference between the early – sorry, I broke my thought there. But this is the difference between the early season Kitchener Rangers and the Kitchener Rangers who now are comfortable in their role as being an elite team.
Yes.
Is they were not rattled in the second period, even though they were outshot 21-6.
Yeah.
And they came out and they just kept playing their game and they took over and they dominated the third period.
Yeah, and that's what you need. If your team falls behind, this is the time of year where if you fall behind in a game, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in the playoffs. Being able to fight back and win games. They were saying on the broadcast, I think, that the Rangers have like the least, or they have the most. Oh, let me formulate this thought. The Rangers have the most wins when down after 2 periods.
Right.
Oh,
most comeback wins.
Most comeback wins. That's a way better way of saying that than my brain fart. In the first period, I saw Lachar and Diricolo got a goal together. Diricolo.
Yeah. And not only that, Lachar just sniped one. Shot one from the perimeter, and it went in, and it got the building going. The funny thing was, I think it was just like people trying to get to the game, so it was a little bit of a quieter. The seats weren't fully filled, and people were just trying to get to the game because it filled up, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it got the building going. And it's great to see Lachar get one because he's not, like I was telling my parents, he's not necessarily relied upon for scoring, though he does have 7 goals. And he hasn't played every game this season, so he's doing well.
He's been suspended a few times.
It's true.
Yeah, he's missed a few. Yeah, but no, I actually noticed that
Diricolo
was having, like, we've talked about him having, he was like quietly has good games where he's not super noticeable.
Yes.
He was actually quite noticeable in this game. He was throwing so many hits in this game.
This was a physical, chippy game.
Yeah, it was.
And it didn't really start that way, but it very quickly ended up that way.
A couple board crushers by Diricolo, and I was like, nice. And he got the assist, and I was like, nice.
Speaking of suspensions for Lachar, he was ejected from this game.
Yes.
He did throw a point of contact hit that was to the head along the boards. They did review it.
I think it was officially called checking from behind, but yeah.
I'm not sure. Let me look. I'll bring it up right here. It was called checking from behind.
Yeah.
But it did seem like it hit the head, and that's why he was tossed. Yeah. It's also, like I was saying, in the moment, I was like, it's also a reputation call a little bit there. Like, you're not getting the benefit of the doubt if you've had a couple suspensions this year.
And been tossed from a good number of games.
But after that opening goal, the missile, which my dad was so unbelievably excited to see Adrian Misljevic score. Every time he was like, the missile. And I was like, yeah, man, the missile. I love it.
And not only did he get 2 goals in this game?
He had 2 goals in this game, yeah.
He had some amazing opportunities that like either got saved or just went a little wide, and it was like, Man, he was on fire.
And this goal, his first goal.
For Laurie.
For Laurie. For the second goal of the game, the first goal scored by Adrian in this game, unbelievable. It was set up really nice by McNeil and Lamb. Lamb made a nifty little pass, read it perfectly, and the missile walked in and just walked around the goalie and just deposited it. It was so clean. It was such a clean goal.
Yeah. Is Joey Costanzo injured? Is Joey Costanzo injured? Like, why did they play their backup goalie against Kitchener?
That is a good question. Joey Costanzo, for as far as I can tell, has been playing. So let me look and see his game log. Yes, he has not played. He played March the 2nd was the last time he played.
Well, that's only okay. Maybe they're doing a Parsons thing.
Yeah,
he was backing up in this game.
He was also pulled, I think, in this game. So he let in 3 on 8 shots. Yeah, so maybe, and then the game before that wasn't great either. So he let in 4 on 21.
So maybe they're resting him a bit.
Actually, I lied. He let in 5 on 13. I misread that.
Whoa.
So, yeah, 4 on 21, 5 on 13. This is not a Joey Costanzo dragging podcast.
No.
All goalies do this at some point. But, yeah, he's having a great season. He's 30,
he totally
10,
is.
and 3 and 1 and has a 2.9 G.
Well, this is why I was so surprised to not see him in this game.
Maybe they're just resting him because his numbers lately haven't been wonderful, and it's also not super important at the moment.
Yeah, they've clinched the division. They have their spot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they're good to go. Yeah, so the shots was a little bit concerning. This game and the next game, we definitely got outshot, but not obviously outdangered because we...
No, and if you take away that second period where, like I said, they were outshot by 15 shots, it wasn't...
It was a lot closer.
It was a lot closer, and it was like the Rangers only lost the second period in that they were scored on twice and only scored once, but they won the first period by scoring once and not giving up any, and of course they exploded in the third with 5 goals, and they only gave up 2.
And I noticed Pridham and Elena's also missed the net a couple times in some open cage opportunities.
Oh, for sure.
So it was maybe the shots themselves weren't there, but the opportunities were.
And look, Windsor's a good team, right? They can score.
Yeah.
Liam Greentree has 45.
Yeah.
So
Morneau got a hat trick in this game, didn't he?
He did. He had an unbelievable game.
Yeah.
But that's the crazy thing is if you're a team that's winning games and somebody's scoring a hat trick against you, but you're still winning, what growth, right? This is the team where Ethan Belchitz, who threw an unbelievably dirty hit in this game and was ejected at the end of the game. He scored 4 in that blowout game.
Yeah.
If you told me that Noah Morneau scored 3 against them in this game, I would have said, oh no, this is the game I'm taking my parents to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, but it didn't matter because everyone was going. Luca Romano hasn't been getting enough love on this podcast. I'm saying it right now.
Yeah.
Luca Romano is the guy who will do anything.
Yeah.
He's literally the guy who, if you put him on the first line, he'll be your first line center. You put him on the third line, he'll be your checking center. He just does what he does. And then even if he's playing third line center or second line center or whatever, however they have it slotted in, he is first line power play and he doesn't miss a beat. Yeah. So he's just unbelievable prospect. I think it's really hard to tell who's going to be an NHL player at this stage. But like we were saying last week, I think coaches look for coachability and guys who are malleable. That's Luca Romano.
For our faithful listeners, I did not just cut and paste our discussion about Luke Elenas from last week in for Romano this week.
It's true though, but we're doing a lot of gassing up of some guys, and I think Luca Romano's in a draft year, and it just needs to be said that this guy does what he's asked to do.
And he got 2 hilarious goals in this game.
He did.
He earned both of them, but it was the first one it basically bounced off him into the net. From Andonovsky.
I called it the bumper goal. Yeah. Because let's say it just went off his tuchus. You know what I mean? He was in the right spot, though.
Yeah. There's no kicking motion when it comes off your butt.
Coaches love that. That's what I'm saying. If you can score with your behind, you can
score with your frahind. What?
Yeah, what?
So the second game we played was on Sunday against the Guelph Storm. We won 4-3 in a game that felt like it was going to be a blowout by Kitchener and then didn't turn out to be that way.
No, it was a foot off the gas kind of thing in the
that's
third.
Exactly what I wrote down in my notes.
There you go. iPod brain meld. Yeah. If you're watching, you just saw strange facial expressions.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Schabel got the start though.
He
which
did.
was great. I'm happy to see that they're continuing to rest Parsons a little bit, but still giving him obviously games.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah,
I think it's really good
I think
for
you have
Schabel's
to.
development.
Yeah.
It's good for Parsons going into playoffs.
Yes,
I think it's a
not to go back to that last game because we've turned the page on it, but Jackson Parsons played really well, and he hadn't played the weekend before.
Yeah.
So it had been like 2 weeks since he played, and he didn't miss a beat.
No, he was.
Speaking of
solid.
not missing a beat, Jason Schabel looked really good in this game, especially because, look, Guelph has a lot to play for.
Yes.
Like a lot to play for. They're still in it. They're still pushing, even though
is absolutely crazy to me, but
yeah, it is. And it's one of those things where there's a part of, like, you can see how if an 8 seed beats a 1 seed, it's really, truly magical Cinderella stuff in the OHL. And it happened a couple of years ago when the Rangers beat the Spitfires, and I was pretty ignorant to how insane of an upset that is because I didn't realize that 8 of the 10 teams make the playoffs in a conference.
Yeah.
So you're getting some pretty below average records making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that is a huge thing. So Guelph has a lot to play for. They come out, and they came out strong. I thought that the Rangers, they had some chances, the Rangers, but they were outshot 11-5.
The Rangers went 5 minutes without a shot.
Yes, they did.
The first 5 minutes.
First 5 minutes, they did. They went without a shot.
Guelph had 6 shots or something before the Rangers got the first shot.
I have to point out, like, Max Nemestikov, every game that he's played against the Rangers, he looks like just like a bona fide, like, threat in every moment. So I'm excited getting to see some of these guys because I expect that a guy like him is going to take the step and go to the next level and have some sort of a career.
Yeah.
So it's cool to just already be like, yeah, we watched him in junior. He was great. But the Rangers, they figured it out.
They did.
Pretty quickly
got
into
on
the
the
second period.
Yeah.
Again, the guy that we gassed up in the last game, Luca Romano.
Killer.
He scored. That Misljevic, Romano power play connection is pretty elite at this stage in the season.
Yeah.
Cameron Reed was in on that one as well. And then, of course, Misljevic scored from Elenis and Lamb, which is just a lethal, to call that a second line.
I know.
To call it a second line, to slot it in second, is just absolutely a testament to this coaching staff's and Mike McKenzie's ability to build this team this year.
Team, yes. Build a team out of nothing, really.
Speaking of building a team out of nothing, the third goal for them to go up 3-0, which in the second period, it all happened in the second period.
Yes.
Jack Pridham, who scored his 25th, I was like, oh my, 25 goals and the guy showed up. A few weeks into the season.
Yeah, I know. He missed so many games.
He missed so many 3-game weekends.
I know. Because our schedule was so front-loaded that now we're like coasting to the end.
I know.
He missed a lot of games.
He missed a lot of games. Of course, Adrian Misljevic and Christian Humphrey set that one up on the power play. So the power play was clicking on this one. They had
all weekend.
Yes, truly. They went 2 for 4 in this game.
They went 2 for 5 in the.
And they went 2 for 5 in the
Windsor.
other game. Yeah, so they are in a good spot. Yeah. Let's keep the power play going. I think they can go really far.
It looks so good.
The power play is doing this.
Yeah. The power play goal, it was like a tic-tac goal.
It was one of the best goals.
Dan was calling it, oh my God, did I get this right? Jason? Who calls the games?
Jason.
Jason called it the tic-tac goal, and I was like, yep.
It is.
Yep.
That's a Jasonism. I've heard him use it before.
He's such a Jason.
Yeah. Such a Jason, not a Dan. Dan is such a Dan.
Yeah, Dan is such a Dan. In the third, play got a bit scrambly. This is the foot off the gas part. Like the second period, they were like, boom, up 3-0. Okay, we're done.
Yeah, they got scored on pretty quick. They answered back right away, which I thought was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, going up 4-1, then you're good.
This is fine. Christian Humphrey scored his 9th of the year, which is a testament. He's literally only been here for a couple of weeks. He has 9 goals. That Humphrey, Swick, and Pridham line continues to be borderline unstoppable.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I would. This sounds so lame, but I would die to see the advanced metrics on that line.
Yeah. I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to see the expected goals for.
Yeah,
I'm guessing it's one of the top lines in the league.
Yeah, and just possession. I would love to see the possession numbers.
Yeah, I was going back through some of the games from the previous weeks and this week, and I was just combing through highlights and whatever. And just every now and then, Trent Swick just decides to lay a hit. And I have a feeling that that might become more part of his game with the big boys.
Yeah, I think so.
Just because it almost feels like he's not necessarily that kind of player at this level because there's 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Presence.
Because it's very easy for a hit by him to become a hit to the head accidentally.
An ejection. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw him stand up today down at the Downtown Showdown, and I was like, that is a big dude. That is a big kid.
Like, part of Matt Rempe's problem is that he's just too big. Like, he's just too tall to do what he does. Like...
Yeah, there's been a few guys like that. Andy Sutton comes to mind. Yeah. Just guys that
like Chara learned how to control it.
Yeah. Well, it's also that he was so skilled that he could just poke check and take the puck away with that stick. I don't even know. Trent Swick, he must have the ability to reach guys so that he doesn't necessarily need to just lay monster hits, right? So you got to keep that in mind, that when you are really rangy and tall, you can play defensively without crushing people.
I look forward to him as a power forward in the NHL.
Yeah, he's great on the puck too. He has great puck skills, which sometimes the big guys don't necessarily have those puck carrier skills. They're a little bit more, I'll drive to the net and you pass it to me, or I'll clean up the garbage. And Trent Swick is definitely not that player.
Sweet. Yes, I agree. Yeah, so...
they took their foot off the gas in this one. It definitely wasn't a reflection of Schabel's play. Schabel had a great game. He stopped 33 of 36, so he had a wonderful game. And basically, I feel like the goals that beat him were goals that would beat anyone, and he stayed right there in it. And it got a little scary. Up 4-3 with 6.5 minutes to go. Still, there was a lot of time, and he just stood tall.
He's just good. Yeah. Yeah, I feel very confident in Schabel, so looking forward to more years of Schabel.
Yeah.
All right, who's your first star of the week, Andrew?
My first star is the Missile.
Yeah.
Adrian Misseljevic was a man-possessed, 3 points in this game, 2 goals in the other game. He's all over the place. He has just gone... I just think about the timing of everything, and I think everything happens for a reason. I think a lot of players could get a little down after missing their breakout season when they're still draft eligible, but he was asked to come to the Connor McDavid Prospects Tournament. He was a part of that Canadian. Was he part of that Canadian? He was part of that Canadian American game. The dude is just a all-around leader. He's a Ranger for life. He has an unbelievable release, unbelievable offensive IQ, and honestly, being demoted to the second line, you could see a drop-off in production, potentially.
I think it's even suited him better.
I agree.
Yep. Obviously, same first star. And the only thing I want to add, he got his 30th goal of the season this weekend.
Yes, he did. He's a 30-goal scorer.
Amazing.
Tip your cap. That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
because
50 games or something.
No one was talking about the Missile as being the leading scorer on the team.
No, and we talked about him last season. He started hot and he fell off. He didn't quite make it to this peak. And he's just continued rolling this season. It's awesome. Okay, who's your second star? Or what's your second star?
My second star is the goaltending duo.
Oh, yeah.
I had to go with the goaltending duo just because things were a little wild and free in these ones, and both of them just locked in and made sure to come out of it with the win.
Yeah.
Jackson Parsons he gave up 4 goals in that game against Windsor. Windsor put on a clinic in the second period. They had 21 shots alone in the second period.
Green Tree breakaway save.
Unbelievable.
Insane.
Unbelievable.
A second save of the month or something?
Yeah. OHL save of the week or month.
Something.
Second place, whatever that is.
Whatever that is. He did it.
It was unbelievable. It's as good as a goal. When the odd erupts on a breakaway save like that, that's as good as a goal. It gets the whole crowd into it. It gets the boys fired up.
Yep.
This team just rallies around each other. For me, it's the goaltending.
Man, nice. My second star is the power play.
Yes.
4 goals. That's a huge difference maker. In this one, in both games, the power play was the difference.
Yes, it absolutely was. They converted, and even the ones where they didn't convert, they had good chances. Not once did I see one of those power plays where they couldn't get the puck in the zone.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep the puck in the zone. They were making bad passes. We've seen it.
And
we've seen it.
We've seen it happen against good teams. We've seen it happen against bad teams. Like, it's happened all the time. And in this weekend, it was good in both games, which was the polar opposites of teams.
We've seen them win games with an absolute anemic power play.
Correct.
We've seen them win games where they've been scored on shorthanded, and they've still won.
And they still managed to win.
So if this team can continue this power play dominance with how good they've been on the penalty kill all season, that's hockey. You got to be just special teams merchants.
Special teams, man. What's your third star?
My third star is the guy that we had to gas up, Luca Romano.
Good.
He did everything. He does everything that's asked of him. He scored. He wins draws. He back checks. He's just one of these guys. I hope that teams are watching closely, because it's not necessarily always just a score sheet thing with Luca Romano. He wins some big faceoffs. He gets back on defense. He's just all around great player, great two-way player. I'm a huge fan, and I'm excited to see him get drafted. We've talked about Cameron Reed a lot getting drafted. I feel like we haven't talked about Luca Romano as much, and he's going early. He's going early.
He's also on the high-end list.
Yeah,
so.
I'd be very surprised by the end of the second round if he was still on the board.
Yeah. It would be a steal for a third round.
It really would be. Yeah. I think he's just exactly the type of guy who can make it in the NHL, because he'll just work wherever you want him to. Who's your third star?
I was going to put Romano, but I was like, I bet Andrew has Romano as your third star. So I mentioned earlier, Diricolo had such a good game against Windsor, like a notable game. And then it's just like a friendly reminder that Diricolo does so many good things for this team, and is just like quietly the unsung hero often.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to sung his hero.
Yes, sing it loud.
Diricolo.
All right.
So we got some games coming up next week. Friday night, North Bay comes to the Odd. And then on Saturday, we go to Owen Sound for some high contrast hockey.
Yeah. Trademarked. Odd Pod trademark. High contrast hockey.
High contrast hockey. And then Tuesday night, we host the London Knights for the final time this season.
Oh, yeah.
So, North Bay, we've only played them once, which feels weird at this point in the season. It feels like we played everyone like 8 times.
Yeah.
That's just because we saw Guelph.
That's true.
And we haven't played them, I think, since November. So it's like we beat them 5-2, but in November, it feels like a lifetime ago that we played them.
Well, think about how different the Rangers roster was.
Yeah. Yeah. So I expect like 47-2.
Let's not jinx them.
No. And then Owen Sound, literally, we just have to beat Carter George this time.
Well, that's not easy.
No, it's so hard.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He's so good.
So let's I don't. At this point in the season, it's funny previewing games because we've seen them so many times. Owen Sound, obviously, we've seen 3 weeks in a row or 4 weeks in a row almost, or
like
three times in 4 weeks.
It's true. Yeah. It
so
feels
it's like we can beat Owen Sound, but it's like we've struggled to beat Owen Sound.
Owen Sound is always up for it. Even like in January, the Rangers beat them 5-1. We saw a dominant win. I remember that game as being one of those games where it wasn't necessarily like a blowout right away. It was like a sustained pressure that finally wore them down and beat them. So Owen Sound brings it. North Bay, I'm assuming they're going to be ready on a Friday night to come into Kitchener and not get the doors blown off them. I'm not sure. Hang on. I wanted to see how they were doing recently. But my computer is not.
They're only looking
agreeing.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, we'll just, whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's just not. Yeah, they're in it, though, right? So they're a playoff team.
They are. Yeah. Which isn't that hard in this league.
No.
And then London. All I wrote down was, do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again. And you know what? It's a bet. I'm making a bet. If the Rangers lose this one, on the next Odd Pod, I will wear something London. That's right.
Okay.
That's how confident I am. That's how confident
I didn't even have to get involved in this.
No, you
this
don't.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Deal.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Hey, and it's in the Odd, so we don't have to deal with safety glasses Mohawk man.
Yeah, or the worst ice in the league.
Or the worst ice.
As Sean Fafaro said today.
Oh, did he?
At the Downtown Showdown. Not today if you're listening, but on Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday.
I heard him say it, and I'm going with it. Worst ice in the league.
Worst ice in the league. I believe it. And then we got some news around the OHL. I'm going to kick us off. So a few weeks ago, we talked about Cam Allen, DUI, drunk driving. I don't know what to call it. Drunk driving
like
arrest.
7 charges.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, we talked about Cam Allen arrested in London on many charges, whatever. So we have a conclusion to this, which happened very quickly, in my opinion. So he received a 2-year probation, 2-year driving ban, and a fine by the court system. Mm-hmm. And then for the OHL, they're going to reinstate him after a 15-game suspension, which includes the games he's already missed. So he will be back on Sunday, March 16th. So he will be back for our game against them on Tuesday.
That's great.
And then he has to be enrolled in a counseling program and do some community service.
Cool. So you get to play hockey the same season as you break the law and endanger lives.
It felt
the same season where we lost a prominent NHLer and his brother to a drunk driver. Is this real life?
Yeah, it feels like something got past here.
Don't get me wrong. Hockey culture,
Yes.
Not great.
Terrible.
Could we set a precedent here? Am I like ruined Cam Allen's life because he made a mistake? No, I'm not saying that. But are we going to let him play the same season as this happens?
It doesn't. The consequences don't seem to match. It doesn't feel like he has any consequences. The fine is insubstantial.
So the Hunters paid for that. They paid off the judges. I'm just kidding. They probably are going to. These two guys, they had long NHL careers. I can't imagine that they are not going to bring down some sort of supplemental discipline on this player. I would hope that there's some sort of, you've got a curfew, you've got that sort of thing.
Right.
Just for the good of this kid.
You'd think.
You'd hope.
Yeah.
You'd hope. So,
for sure.
All joking aside, please just don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. And I don't think we should be rewarding poor behavior.
I agree. It feels exactly like what we've done.
Or ruining his life because he did this.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
And then do you want to... Andrew, you got some news from the OHL?
I do. The Erie Otters coach, Chris Mallett, was suspended for 5 games. There was an off-ice incident in between the benches during a game where there was multiple ejections. There was fighting between coaches, fighting of a player that wasn't dressed. Yeah, it was bonkers.
Whoa.
Yeah, and essentially I noticed that the Erie Otters came in. This is how I found out about this because I'm not following Little Brother, but the Erie Otters came in dressed with free Mallet shirts. So I was just like, what is going on here? And I guess so it's pretty heavy. He's obviously a new hire.
Yeah, he's
Stan
replacing
Butler.
whatever happened with Stan Butler.
Yeah, so I think Erie's just in a bit of a tailspin a little
yeah.
bit. Yeah. Alex Messier was a reserve left winger. He was suspended for the remainder of the team's regular season.
Wow.
So there was some stuff that went down in that game, and I think it's not a great look when there's stuff going on. Say what you want about fighting in hockey on the ice. It exists. It's allowed. It's regulated.
Yeah.
But
off the ice.
That's
just assault. I think.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah, tricky. All right. That's it's a bit of a downer to end our week on, but yeah.
It's Little Brother.
Yeah.
Let's point and laugh.
Should check on our friend on Twitter. Oh, wait, we don't use that anymore.
No, we're off Twitter now.
Suck it, Twitter. Hey, I wanted to give before we get into our thank yous and how to find us and stuff, I wanted to give a shout out to one of our followers. I wanted to give a shout out to one of our followers, Sean, who is not Sean Fafaro, but is a different Sean, who's in the hospital recovering from some medical stuff. So
all right,
I just
Sean.
wanted to shout out. Feel better, man. Hope you
man.
get better soon.
Thanks for listening, and hopefully this week's episode just literally brings you right back to full health.
Yeah, so best of luck. I don't know. We'll see. We want to see you at the Odd again.
Yeah, we do. Exactly.
Yeah. And then, thank yous. Of course, we got Ken Bourne. Thank you for our branding and marketing
Papa
everywhere.
Bourne, I'm sorry that we couldn't secure you tickets.
I know.
It's embarrassing, Justin.
I know. It's really embarrassing when you can't take your director to a hockey game.
I'm sorry, we gave the tickets away.
Yeah.
Sorry, we had a client.
It's too much. Of course, we got to shout out our prodigal producer, Liam.
The Phenom.
And thank you to Kitchener Public Library for hosting us this week.
The home away from home.
The home away from home on a Tuesday, which felt weird.
It did. It felt like, I don't know. Maybe next week we'll be playing London. So
yeah, we have to be at home on Tuesday.
We have to be at home.
Yeah. Andrew, how can you find us?
You can find us at The Odd Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You know what? Follow us there. Let's get it going. Let's get it going.
If people follow us there, we will start doing things
We will
there.
post stuff there. So
Yeah.
we'd love to. We love interacting with people on Instagram and on TikTok. We have a lot of fun. It's more fun when it's not just London fans, which seem to flock to us on TikTok.
Yep.
The Instagram, though, is a really nice little community
I
we're
love our
building
little
there.
Insta community.
Absolutely. Shout out to all those followers who comment and do everything.
We try and
There.
reply to everything.
We do.
So
We do.
yeah, thanks. You can also find us on YouTube.
Yes, of course, on YouTube. Just look up The Odd Pod Kitchener Rangers in the search bar, and we will come up.
I think it's the Odd Podcast.
The Odd
Getting it-
Podcast, all right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you just throw in The Odd Pod, though, as in the title of it'll come up.
It'll come up. Oh, good.
So, yes, click around. The YouTube search is weird, but I think we're finally breaking into the algorithm there.
And we post our uncut videos, so you can see all the weird stuff that we said that if you're just listening, you'd be like, wow, this sounds so like these guys sound so intelligent
Yes.
and smart and communicative.
And it flows so well. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because the AI.
That's the editing and the AI. And then we put the non-edited AI, non-AI'd version on YouTube for all to see, probably including most of this discussion that I'm saying now,
Right now.
which is a bit rambly,
Yeah.
even for me.
A special shout out for the YouTube Uncut watchers. Welcome to the Odd.
And as always, you can find us at
The Kitchener Memorial Auditorium.
See at the Odd.